Hey, hockey fans, what's up? Another week has gone by, and we've got a big one coming up. As always, all of State Champs programming is brought to you by Lawrence Tech. This is Hockey Time.
State Champs Hockey Time is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also presented by Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. For all things Michigan High School hockey, go to the Hub, MIHSHockeyHub.com. National Coney Island, doggone good. And the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.
So glad you could join us. He's John Kidd. I'm Sean Belegian. John, always a pleasure to be with you. Another great week passed. We're inching closer to the gut check time as well. Things are getting really exciting all around the state.
Absolutely, and we have ourselves a great show this week. Our Alta Equipment Company main event, we're going on the west side of the state as Forest Hills Central takes on Forest Hills Northern Eastern. And I head downriver to Trenton as I talk to Chad Clements for this week's Coach's Corner.
All right, let's get to those highlights. We begin with the Dennis J. Miller Memorial SMCC Hockey Tournament. In the championship game, we had Woodhaven going up against the Jenison Wildcats. And Woodhaven would get on the board just 51 seconds into this one. Connor Moore's wrister from the point is redeflected by sophomore Duncan McClellan, and it goes into the back of the net. Warriors up 1-0 after one. Jenison looking to even it up in the second on the man advantage. Jackson Terpstra's shot is denied by Woodhaven freshman goalkeeper Kenna Borso. And then moments later, check out Woodhaven senior Jacob Cornelio with the steal, and he finishes with the spin and backhand beauty for the goal, and the Warriors are now up by 2. Woodhaven would capitalize 4 minutes later on the man advantage. Evan Bliss with the quick dish to Jesse Anderson, who buries in one of his 2 goals on the contest. That increased the lead to 3. But back comes Jenison. Off the faceoff, it's the senior Terpstra snapping it home for his 10th goal of the season. Wildcats now down 3-1. The Warriors respond just a minute and a half later. It's Cornelio going the length of the ice, splits 2 defenders and puts in his second goal of the game. Woodhaven back up 3 at 4-1. Jenison comes right back on the power play. Traffic in front, and it's the senior Noah Sheldon who puts in his team leading 13th on the season. They added another goal and now trail 4-3. Now, with under just a minute left in the second, Woodhaven answers again. Brian Tanner keeps the puck in the Jenison zone and then throws it at the net, and it goes in. Warriors head into the third period, leading 5-3. Early stages of the final period now. Jenison on the power play. Brendan Ostoff's shot is stopped, but Nick Rasak, while on the ground, puts in the rebound for his 9th on the campaign. Wildcats down a goal at 5-4. But it would be too much Woodhaven as they scored the final 2 goals of the game. Evan Bliss' shot is stopped, but gets the second opportunity and goes upstairs for the goal. Woodhaven goes on to beat Jenison 7-4 your final to win the Dennis J. Miller Memorial Tournament. Next up, we have an OAA MAC Conference crossover matchup as Lake Orion goes on the road to take on the Cougars from Macomb, Dakota. Lake Orion, coming in on a 4-game winning streak, had a good scoring chance in the second period with the game scoreless. Thomas Reith gets the steal, feeds it to Brendan Finn, but the Dakota senior netminder Jack Mastronardi is there with the glove save denial. Dakota, looking to win its 11th on the season, would get on the board a few minutes later. It would be the senior Gavin Ulwitz with the wrister for his 7th goal on the season, and the Cougars went into the third period up 1-0. Cougars would go on the power play in the early stages of the final period. Shane Rombach, shot from the point is stopped, but the junior Joey Gavlinski is there to bury home the rebound, and that puts them up by 2. More from Dakota with under 6 minutes to go in the contest. Shane Percival keeps the puck in the Lake Orion zone, and the senior snaps it top right corner for the goal. Cougars rolling, now up by 3. They would add one more just under a minute later. It's Gavlinski with the steal. He works his way in, stuffs in his second goal of the game. He leads the Cougars with 11 goals on the season, and Macomb, Dakota goes on to shut out Lake Orion 4-0 your final.
I'm Greg Molson at Rivalry Night in the Lakes Valley Conference. Lakeland out for revenge after losing to its rival Milford earlier this season, but the Eagles don't get off to a very good start as the Mavericks score just 23 seconds into the game. Pierce Ashcroft setting up Austin Combs for the goal, giving Milford the early lead. But the Eagles come back strong. Matthew Zaremba takes it coast to coast, goes behind the net, then feeds Will Petersmark for the score, tying it up. And Lakeland would add 2 more in the first. Owen Arnold taking this one coast to coast, taking it through the defender's legs. His shot is stopped, but Nick Clough gets the rebound, putting Lakeland up 3-1. The Eagles add to their lead in the opening minute of the second. Alex Libby with the takeaway and the breakaway. He goes to the backhand to make it 4-1. The two teams each scored twice in the first 4 minutes of the second. It's Combs with the breakaway the other way. His second of the game makes it 5-3. Late in the second, off the faceoff, Owen Arnold fires from the point, and that's Matthew Zaremba with the deflection in front to make it 6-3 Lakeland going into the third. The Mavericks keep fighting, and with 5 minutes to play, it's Combs with the assist to Kazuma Bowring to make it 6-5, but they could not score again, and Lakeland holds on to win a wild one over its rival.
This win means everything to us. We've been trying the whole season to just get it going, and it finally clicked for us. We knew we could win this game. It was just about executing.
We're just happy to come out on top. I'm happy for the seniors because they really look forward to this game, and it means everything to them.
All right, and welcome back inside the studios, brought to you by the Alta Equipment Company. Sean, let's talk about Woodhaven for a few minutes. They beat Jenison 7-4. Jake Cornelia and Jesse Anderson had 2 goals each. But the talk is Kenna Borzo. She is the starting goaltender for Woodhaven. She had 25 saves in the win on Saturday. She is now 8-5 on the year. And I talked to Brian Sullivan, the head coach at Woodhaven, about her play this season.
It's 100% improved since the start of the year. I mean, just from the way that she's playing the puck and starting to play the angles and getting used to the faster shots to a level of confidence that she has now, where at the beginning I think she was questioning herself maybe a little bit, and I don't think she's not afraid to play against anybody now, and that's a good thing, and she's more than willing to go out there and do her best, and that's all we want her to do, and she's gotten better every day, so that's a credit to her for working so hard.
All right, Sean, a remarkable story out there in Woodhaven.
Yeah, it's great. You know, there's so much good hockey down there, and you know, this is a young lady that she's a hockey player. Yep. Period. End of story. She's a freshman. It'll be fun to see where she goes from here. Woodhaven, one of the many teams in the downriver area that are really taking a step up. Nice win for Woodhaven, a nice win for Kenna. Jenison is a team that has knocked some teams off this year. Jenison has a couple of nice wins under their belt. So for them to take that one 7-4, that's a big win. And Kenna, I mean, well done. Welcome to the club. You're a hockey player. Keep representing. I think it's a fantastic story. Look, if you can play, I don't care who you are. Play them. That's exactly it. So this will be a fun story to watch moving forward.
We had a MAC Conference OAA crossover between Macomb, Dakota, and Lake Orion, and Dakota won on Friday night 4-0.
Yeah, you know what? Give Dakota credit. The one thing about Dakota right now, they're getting some balanced scoring. They have a couple of goaltenders that are playing really well. I think the sophomore Zielinski and then Jack Mastronardi is having a really good year. Boy, if you look at his numbers, he's having a really good year. So a good win by Dakota, to be sure. You know, I'll say it again. Out in that area, there are some teams that can jump up and bite you and really cause a trouble, especially when you're talking about a one-and-done scenario in the playoffs. Dakota's definitely one of those teams.
All right, we go to the Lakes Valley Conference. Lakeland beats their rivals from Milford 6-5. Lakeland has a big one tonight against South Lyon Unified.
Yeah, you know what? That is a game that I've got a circle around because South Lyon Unified is really having a good year. They were this close to making the rankings. There's good hockey being played in the Lakes Valley. Make no mistake about that. Ben Getson, if I'm not mistaken, having a monster year. He's got 35 points in 15 games. Wow. So this is going to be a measuring stick and another opportunity for South Lyon Unified to further put their stamp on the high school ranks.
And it's time now for our Coach's Corner, brought to you by the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. I'm joined today by the head coach at Trenton High School, Chad Clements. Chad, welcome back to Hockey Time.
Hey, nice to have you.
So, Chad, talk about your guys' season so far.
So far, we're having a pretty good year. I think 11-2-1 right now. It's rolling along. We're about halfway through, so some good things happening, but we still have some big challenges ahead, whether that be in the Downriver League, in the MIHL North and South, and then in the Showcase. So we got some pretty tough opponents coming up, but we're rolling along right now. You can make little tweaks here and there for improvement, and so we're looking forward to the second half of the season.
Obviously, you guys play in Division II. Just talk about how tough the division is this year.
Oh, yeah, well, it's tough every single year, and we look forward to it. We have some great rivalries going with some Division II opponents, and it makes high school atmosphere electrifying. And we like that, whether it's Stevenson, Heartland, Brother Rice, or some of the other teams that we face each and every year. It's just a great atmosphere for the kids to play in front of all these communities that have really supported high school hockey and the student athletes out there. So it makes for an interesting year, and then of course it makes for an interesting playoffs. So we're looking forward to that as well. So
Chad, we had Joey Cormier on our Player of the Year race. Just talk about his goaltending play over the last few years.
Yeah, this is Joey's third year on the team this year. He's a captain. He's been our starting goalie all 3 of the years and logged a majority of the ice. He's one of the best competitors I've ever coached or even played with, in my years playing. He just wants to win. He has that drive. He has that desire. He works hard. And he just wants to be on the winning side of everything. Again, if you challenge him or if someone else challenges him from outside, whether it be media, another coach, or another player, that's usually when you get the best out of Joey. So in the last 3 years, Joey's a big part of our success. He's been a big part of the last 2 playoff runs that we've had. And just the overall success of our team. So we go when Joey goes, when he's hot, when he's on. Again, everyone on our bench, everyone in our locker room knows we have a chance to win each and every night that he plays. So again, he's just been a tremendous asset for our team.
In a few weeks, the MIHL Showcase comes back to Trenton. How special is it for the city of Trenton to host this every year?
Yeah, when Andy Wiedenbach was stepping down from the Showcase, this was something that I felt. I talked to Cal and a few other coaches in the MIHL that I wanted to head this up or spearhead this because I didn't want it leaving the community of Trenton. This is something that's special, not only for the 42 teams that are involved and all the people that can come and watch it and all the scouts. It's very special for the community of Trenton. And again, we have a ton of volunteers. We have a ton of community members that do a lot of work behind the scenes to make sure everything runs smoothly. And again, having 3 rinks here, it usually allows us for all the games to be played. And this is something that we're passionate about as a community, as a school. We want to keep the Showcase here, and we hope to continue having it or hosting it for many years to come.
And lastly, how special is it for you to be a part of this program? Obviously you're a player and a coach. Just how special is it?
Just very special. It meant so much to me in my playing career from my sophomore to senior year. Having Coach Turner really show me the ropes on how to be a player, how to be a leader, and then to come back and coach with him as well. That was pretty special. I got to play a year with my brother. His senior year, my sophomore year. That was a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity that I never could have got anywhere else, being able to play in front of my friends. Like I said, all of the teachers, all the community members was just great. So coming back here to be able to give all these student athletes a positive experience and try and have them find some success, enjoy everything that they do, become better hockey players, and more importantly, become better young men.
All right, Chad. Well, best of luck to you guys the rest of the season. And that was Chad Clements joining us here on the Coach's Corner, brought to you by our friends at the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association.
Hey, State Champs Nation, Jenna Skalski here, and I'm here to tell you to check out the State Champs Michigan Winter Roundup premiering every Friday at 5 p.m. all winter long. The Roundup is where you can find highlights in girls basketball, boys swimming, competitive cheer, wrestling, bowling, and gymnastics. Presented by Lawrence Tech, check out the State Champs Michigan Winter Roundup premiering Fridays at 5 p.m. on the State Champs Sports Network and the State Champs app.
I admit it, I love working with money, negotiating, and making big decisions. That's why I'm majoring in finance and economics at Lawrence Tech. What's truly amazing about the education here is the small class sizes that give me easy access to my professors who truly care about my future. They even helped me get a great internship. And I was able to fulfill my lifelong dream of playing college golf. Lawrence Tech, where Blue Devils dare.
My dad and my grandfather are officials. I've grown up around officials and seeing how much they enjoy being part of the games. As a student athlete, I've always appreciated the people out there who are willing to give back to the kids. The Legacy program lets me officiate while I'm still in high school, working younger kids' games. Officiating gives me a better understanding of the game. I get to make some pretty good money for a high school kid, and I even get to spend some quality time with my dad. There's help wanted. Just whistle.
Next up, we have our number 1 ranked team in the state, the Warriors from Brother Rice, going up to the UP to take on the Copper Kings from Calumet. Brother Rice, coming in at 10-1-1, would get on the board with under 10 minutes to go in the first on the power play. The senior Nick Marone stuffs it home. Warriors lead 1-0 after 1. Brother Rice would go on a 5-minute man advantage with 6 minutes to go in the second, and it would be the senior defenseman Alex Andoni that would snap it home, and the Warriors now up by 2. Calumet comes in 8th in our latest top 25 rankings, and they still had 90 seconds to kill in that 5-minute major when our National Coney Island Player of the Year candidate Tanner Rowe gets the steal and buries his 10th goal on the season. Copper Kings down a goal. And Calumet would go on another penalty kill with under 2 minutes to go in the second. It's the senior Alex Matilla gets the intercept. He finishes it with the backhander for his 6th on the campaign, and we're tied up at 2. The Copper Kings looking to take the lead with 20 seconds to go in the second. The senior Gabe Capo is at the right place in front of the goal, and he bangs her home. Calumet goes into the final period leading 3-2. We go to the late stages of the game. Calumet still holding on to a 3-2 lead, and they're on the power play. It's Capo once again putting home his 2nd goal of the game. Calumet goes on to beat our number 1 team in the state, Brother Rice, 5-3 your final.
I'm Kevin Trozinski, and we go to the MAC Hockey Showcase for Monday afternoon as Utica Eisenhower took on the Clarkston Wolves. Eisenhower looking to win its 8th game on the season, and we pick things up in the first period. And on the man advantage, it would be the senior Jaden Blevins in front of the net for his 2nd goal on the season, and the Eagles led 1-0 after the opening period of play. We now jump early in the 3rd period, with the game still 1-0. Eisenhower capitalizing off another power play as the senior Sam Militello, wrister from the point, gets through the traffic and into the back of the net for his 4th on the campaign. Eagles now up a pair. And Ike would strike again just 20 seconds later. Kevin Gialoretti slides it over to senior Cole Weber, who puts it home. Eagles flying high with a 3-0 lead. Clarkston trying to gain any momentum a few minutes later on the man advantage. But the Eagles would come through while shorthanded as Parmvias gets the puck in front and scores his 7th on the season. Eisenhower up by 4. It would be too much Utica Eisenhower on this afternoon as the junior Matthew Pellegrino would get his name on the score sheet. Utica Eisenhower goes on to shut out Clarkston at the MAC Hockey Showcase, 5-0 the final.
Hey, it's that time. It's the Alta Equipment Company main event. We head to the west side, a dandy. Forest Hills Central, Forest Hills NE. Check it out.
Forest Hills is coming to play! Forest Hills is coming to play! We didn't think no fashion way! We didn't think no fashion way!
It was the Battle of the Forest Hills in our Alta Equipment Company main event as Northern Eastern was ready to go take on their rivals from Central. Coming to the contest winners of 10 of their last 11 games, the lone loss was to Northern Eastern. We picked things up in the first period. Northern Eastern tries to clear it, but Central senior Cole Beaufait steals it and scores. Rangers out to a 1-0 lead. Northern Eastern, coming in on an 11-game unbeaten streak, looked to even it up later in the first. Jack Zubkis feeds it to Eli Howe, but his shot is denied by Central goaltender Gavin Brady. It's still 1-0 Rangers after 1, but NE would answer in the second. Senior Ryan Endress gets the puck, snaps it in for his first goal on the season, and we're tied up at 1 apiece. And they were trying to take the lead later in the period. Traffic in front of the net. Aiden Riley and Zupkis have pokes at the puck, but it's covered up by Brady to keep it a 1-1 game. Forest Hill Central would catch a break in the northern eastern end as the puck hits a broken stick. Mason Kelly's shot is stopped, but Beaufait is there to score his second on the game, and the Rangers head into the third, leading 2-1.
This is now a battle of will, boys. We talked about the feeling last time after the game. We're not going to have this feeling this time. We're going to have a feeling of celebration after this game. We're going to take care of what we take care of, compete for 17 minutes, and skate off the ice as winners tonight. Let's finish this.
It would be too much Forest Hill Central on this night. It would be the senior, Ryan Jeffries, with the intercept. He would get his name on the score sheet with his 7th goal on the season as Forest Hill Central gets its revenge. They beat their rivals from Northern Eastern 3-1 your final.
It's huge for us. We need to try to win conferences, and it's been a long time for this team since we've beat Northern, and it feels great.
The main event is presented by the Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time.
All right, we're back inside the studios once again, brought to you by the Alta Equipment Company, and we just saw the main event between Forest Hill Central and Forest Hills Northern Eastern, and Forest Hill Central beat Northern Eastern for the first time in 4 years.
Well, you know what? They've always had just outstanding battles. They really have. They've gone back and forth. They've been tight games, and those are two of the best on the west side right now. You know, one is obviously Division II. The other one is Division III, but two teams that can put a scare in anybody. Right now, for Forest Hill Central, Cole Beaufait came back, and Mason Kelly, who was on our Player of the Year list earlier, and we haven't heard the last of him. He is really lighting it up. Things are coming together for Coach Zaschek and the Rangers out at Forest Hill Central.
And we go to the Upper Peninsula. Calumet had a big one against Birmingham Brother Rice, and they took down our #1 team in the state 5-3 at the final.
Listen, Calumet is making a case to be a #1 team. And I'm not talking about in Division III. I'm talking about everywhere. They've got, if I'm not mistaken, right off the top of my head, I think they've got a loss to Brighton and a tie against Cranbrook. And those are the only marks on their slate right now. So Calumet, I think you've seen the last couple years, you know, how good they are and how much talent that is. That top line is something. More on them later, but that top line is something. But right now, Calumet making a case for the #1 team in the state.
We head to the MAC Showcase. That was on Monday. Utica Eisenhower took on Clarkston. Utica Eisenhower had a tough loss on Friday to Howell, but they rebounded and beat Clarkston 5-0.
Well, and that's what you have to do. You have to find a way to rebound. You forget about it. You look forward, and we've talked about Bob Hall. We've talked to Bob Hall before. This is a guy that's been there and done that, and another one of those teams. Don't sleep on a team like that because they can come up and bite you on the behind, and they're capable of pulling a win or two come playoff time as well.
And we head to Northeast Michigan. Shout out to our friend Jake Vanderbrook out at the Alpena station who provided us footage of the Alpena versus Gaylord game. They beat Gaylord.
Way to go, Alpena. Honestly, right now, this is a team that's starting to find their stride. They've won 4 of 5. They had a little hangover after that magical season that they had last year, and you remember they were one of the talks of the Trenton Showcase, John. Yep. You and I were out there that Friday, and everybody was talking about Alpena. I think they're going to be talking about them again because they're really starting to find their stride. They're going to be dangerous up that way.
What's up, hockey fans? If you're also looking to get the latest highlights and news in boys basketball, you need to check out State Champs Hangtime Michigan. We comb the state for some of the best matchups featuring some of the top teams and players. State Champs Hangtime Michigan is for hoops junkies, and it premieres right here on the State Champs Sports Network and the State Champs app, Thursdays at 5 p.m. Eastern.
It's time now for our National Coney Island High School Hockey Player of the Year update. So, Sean, extra onions always.
Extra onions, and you and I were just talking about Coney Island.
Yes.
How can you beat that deal?
Yes.
99-cent Conies? Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
What a beautiful, and it's not just an hour. It's 3 hours.
And it's Monday through Friday between the hours of 2 and 5 p.m. All right, Sean, there's no changes to our list this week, but we're going to preview 2 players that are from Division III.
Yeah, you know what? There are a couple of guys that maybe we all don't get a chance to see. And this is where, again, I tell everybody out there, whether it be a parent, whether it be a coach, whether it be just a fan, we rely on coaches to set this list because we can't be everywhere. So Calumet, right now with Calumet, they're making a strong case for being the number 1 team in the state. Forget about Division III, the number 1 team in the state. And right now, Mr. Rowe is having a big season, part of a big line for Calumet. This is a really good Copper Kings team. I think they've got a little bit of a chip on the shoulder, feeling that they could have gone even farther than they did last year. So that's going to be a tough outcome Division III playoff time.
And how about Luke Blasey from Midland Dow?
Yeah, the Saginaw Valley Conference is getting it done so far this year, aren't they? I mean, give props. And if you aren't familiar with it, go check it out. Go to MIHS Hockey Hub and you can see for yourself. One of the big stories coming out of there is Midland Dow. One of the big stories for Midland Dow is indeed Luke Blasey. 32 points in 15 games, 12 and 20. He gets marked every game he's at, and he's still producing. Midland Dow's going to be a good story moving forward as well. So those are just 2 of the quality 10 players on our list.
And remember, you can cast your vote at statechampsnetwork.com. The leading vote getter will never get removed from the list. And that was your High School Hockey Player of the Year update, brought to you by our friends at National Coney Island.
Hey guys, Lauren Plant here to remind you that the deadline to submit nominations for the Detroit Athletic Club Foundation's Male and Female Athlete of the Year is fast approaching. As the host of the live awards show every year, let me clue you in on a few quick things you need to know. Number 1, 6 male and 6 female nominees will be named once the application deadline has passed. If you do not submit a nomination form, I don't care how great of an athlete you are, you cannot be nominated. Number 2, this award is very selective. These are for young men and women who are first-team All-Staters or are projected to be this winter or for the upcoming spring season. It's only for seniors. You have to have a minimum overall GPA of 3.0 or better, and we're looking for leaders both in school and in your community. Number 3, each nominee gets $1,000 in scholarship money. The winners get $5,000 each. This is to help in your college education, and you get to come to a red carpet awesome awards show in May hosted by me. To download the application, go to dacathleteoftheyear.com. The deadline to apply is February 3rd. To be nominated Male or Female Athlete of the Year is an incredible honor and one you'll never forget.
Let's take a look at the week ahead in high school hockey. So, Sean, it's going to be part 3 of Detroit Catholic Central and Brother Rice on Wednesday night.
Yeah, you and I are both going to be out at that one. We're out in Oak Park. It should be a dandy. I mean, look, every time those two get together, even if one team's having a less than year, I mean, it's still CC Brother Rice. So really looking forward to that one.
And it's going to be part 2 of Heartland and Livonia Stevenson on Wednesday.
Yeah, Heartland with a chance to exact some revenge. Stevenson went in there, came away with a big victory. Heartland has an opportunity to repay the favor at Eddie Edgar Arena.
Still on Wednesday night on the west side of the state, Forest Hill Central, who you saw on the show, they'll be taking on Muskegon Moden Shores, one of your sleepers on the west side of the state earlier in the year.
Yeah, it's interesting. A lot of guys had told me that Moden Shores come playoff time, look out. This is the time, if they want to make a statement, this is the time where they can make those people look smart. If you knock off Forest Hill Central, that's going to open up a lot of eyes.
On Friday night, it's Northville at Plymouth. It's Military Appreciation Night. It was supposed to be last Saturday, but of course the snow had to move it up to this week.
Yeah, it's a bummer. I was really looking forward to going out there and seeing those two teams play. Ian Smith is a guy that just keeps knocking on our Player of the Year list, and rightfully so. But let me tell you something. Props to Coach Vento and his staff for putting on a show like that. Class act all the way around, guys.
All right, and then on Saturday, Plymouth takes on Saginaw Heritage.
Yeah, boy, talk about the back-to-back, right? You got Northville, and you know what Northville brings in the table, and then you take on Saginaw Heritage. So 2 big games and a good test, I think, for Coach Bamberger as well and his Hawks.
All right, and on Friday, we have Howell taking on Brighton for the first time this season.
Yeah, you know what? Brighton is starting to play better. There's no doubt about that. Keep an eye out for Brighton. You know, this is their time of year. I think we've said that before. And listen, Rocky's done a good job with Howell, and Howell plays in the KLA, which means they're battle-tested. They're ready to go each and every night. That'll be a good one to watch.
And on Saturday, we have Brother Rice going on the road to Trenton.
Yeah, it's a monster, huh? Listen, Trenton, I'm going to say it again. I mean, here we are talking about all the good teams. I want to make sure we don't forget about Trenton because this is the same thing that we talked about last year. I mean, Trenton very well could be back at USA Hockey Arena playing for a championship again. And Brother Rice is going to be one of the teams that are standing in front of them. I still think right now that Brother Rice is the team to beat in Division II, but I think Livonia Stevenson and Trenton and Heartland are this far behind him. So a good test for the Trojans.
Sean, I'm going to put you on the spot here. Are we going to have a new number 1 team in the state come Monday?
I think so. If all things stay the same, I think so. But there's a lot of hockey to be played in the next few days, so we'll wait that out. But listen, right now the margin of error is nothing. And look, there's no harm in falling to Calumet like Brother Rice did. There's no harm in that, right? But when everybody else around you keeps winning, Calumet keeps winning, and Livonia Stevenson keeps winning, and Trenton keeps winning. This is a case where, we might want to think about it.
And on Saturday, it's the Mayor's Cup out in Dearborn. Dearborn Unified taking on Dearborn Divine Child. It's going to be a big crowd for that one.
You know what? And we're happy to be behind something like this, too, because I've said this once. I've said it 1,000 times. All the coaches out there, you guys, right now, why don't you pat yourselves on the back? Because the way you guys are getting involved in social media and sending things out on Twitter or Facebook or whatever the case may be, props to you. It helps the game so much. Not only does it help you, but it helps the game so much. It helps grow this game that we all love so much. And these folks have really been hammering this on Twitter. So we're giving some retweets. We'll send a camera out there. Way to go, guys. It should be a dandy out in Dearborn.
Time now for the MHSAA Hockey Clip of the Week. And check out the senior Jacob Cornelia from Woodhaven High School. Here with the intercept, and then finishes with the backhand beauty for his 18th goal on the season in the win over Jenison. And that's your MHSAA Hockey Clip of the Week.
Hey, time flies when you're having fun. Hopefully, you get out and see some games this week. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to see you at the rink. I know I'm going to be out to a couple games this weekend. John, you are as well.
And remember, you can follow State Champs on all of our social media channels, and you can download the new State Champs app that is available on iPhone and Android. So that's it for another week of State Champs Hockey Time. So, Sean?
We'll see you at the rink.
State Champs Hockey Time is presented by Lawrence Technological University, where Blue Devils dare. Also presented by Alta Equipment Company, Michigan's #1 construction equipment provider with over 40 brands. Get the right equipment for your project every time. Also brought to you by the Michigan High School Hockey Coaches Association. For all things Michigan High School hockey, go to the Hub, MIHSHockeyHub.com. National Coney Island, doggone good. And the Michigan High School Athletic Association, promoting the value and values of educational athletics.